Welcome to PLM10. This is Matt Duca from Links.AS, and this is part 2 of Workflow Unleashed. Crank it up with analytics. If you haven't seen part 1, you can check that out at linksas.com or on the PLM10 YouTube channel. In that episode, we looked at SAP Workflow and how a balanced approach to automation, task management, and role definition can really streamline product development and scale across large organizations. So that was a kind of nuts and bolts demo that looked at functionality and design. In this episode, we're going to look more at the big picture, the data and analytics side. If you think about all the tasks and timelines in motion at once, all that data that users are creating, how does a company harness it to monitor performance, identify and correct bottlenecks, and then fine-tune product development to improve profitability, productivity, quality, and more? The answer is S/4HANA and HANA-powered analytics. So let's start this demo with an overview of the workflow dashboard, which gives you a snapshot of all the product development workflows and statuses going on in product development, as well as other content and navigation items. This flexible and responsive data visualization UI is made possible using SAP UI5 and SAP HANA capabilities. And it really gives the end user the power to manage what content appears in the dashboard, structurally, visually, and how it can be filtered to specific roles or interests of a user. First, to simply control what tiles or cards appear in the dashboard itself, you use the Manage Cards functionality in the user menu. Here you just toggle on and off the content you want. For instance, if I don't want this contact workflow support card, you simply turn it off, click OK, and the change is made instantly. So once you set up what you want to the content you want in the dashboard, to visually compose the contents that are active in the dashboard, you just drag and rearrange cards directly in the browser window. You can also adjust the size of cards to emphasize certain content, and the layout will flow accordingly. In either case, the changes you make are immediately saved in the background. So this is a great way to deliver high-level analytics that help you keep pulse on the performance of product development. For instance, here in this tile or card, you can quickly see metrics like average time to completion of tasks against the target time and how that average has changed over time, so you can spot bottlenecks, identify positive or negative trends, and then make adjustments accordingly. You see, we also have other reports such as tasks by type and status, by creation date, by activity, by role, etc. So once you have the content you optimize for a specific user that appears on the dashboard, there's also a number of other ways to manipulate the data for more detailed insights that change the way that those cards report. One way is through filters. For example, if you only want to see the most important items, you can filter on a priority, and the graphs will update automatically, reporting only on the high and very high priority workflows. Similar to filters are predefined views, which are more or less saved filters or queries rather than ad hoc queries. These can be used for specific statuses, like only open workflows. You see again the graphs refresh. For example, the average days to complete, as well as the allocation by role, for example. Or rather than taking a specific status, you can configure a view for a specific department or role, like quality. Now you see only quality-related tasks and a breakdown of how many tasks you have for each plant. So as a quality manager, this would give you an idea of how your department is performing as a whole. So that's a look at filtering on status and role or department. But you can also use the analytics to understand how a specific person is involved in a particular workflow by creating a personal filter. So if I go ahead and put a filter on this user, you see this person is involved in the raw material approval process, but that person is also performing the tasks of 4 different roles. And then when we scroll down here, you see of these 4 roles, you can see here the user is taking way more time as a purchasing manager than any other role. To drill down for even more detailed data and analysis, you simply click on the tile or card. So if we click here, we'll get a workflow analysis on all engineering records, or ERs. This is the next level of analysis. Here you see the virtual filters represented above: engineering records by type, by status, by creation date, by priority, and change reason. These are interactive visual filters. You can hide the filters and expand the bar graph to show ER types and statuses, with each record also displayed in the table format showing real-time progress metrics. You can use these visual filters then to zero in on specific records. For instance, if I'm only interested in high priority work items and the cost reduction reasons, the table will then show only those items. The bar graph in the middle will also update as well. You can adjust this view. You can either show the graph and table or just hide the graph for table view, however you like it. And here you see the color-coded progress bars. Green is complete, orange is in process, and red is overdue. The last thing I want to show is the detailed workflow report. This shows every single task and task status for each workflow that's out there, whether it's completed or in process or overdue. It also shows if the task was completed on time. Here the task was supposed to be finished in a day and was actually completed in under 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 52 seconds. There are certain tasks that do not have due dates. For instance, these are due in 1 day while this one is open-ended. It is showing orange because it is not complete but has less than 10 days. While these tasks are red because the due date there is 1 day but finished status is late. So you can see how in a single report, a view of all the engineering records, associated tasks, and statuses would be helpful. Right, because you get a glimpse across the enterprise of the work going on. And like any other report within the system, you can narrow it down by filters as detailed as you want. For instance, if you want to look at an issue with a specific workflow record, you can filter on that record number and get to the task details and then follow up as needed. So that's a wrap on workflow analytics. I hope it was helpful in illustrating that with the right workflow design, you can enable high-level performance monitoring down to the detailed task troubleshooting to really streamline your product development processes. So thanks for watching PLM in 10, and please join us again next time.